Hi guys, Matty B here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another video. In this video, I'll be discussing a subject very close to my heart, something I've suffered with personally, and something that I want to get us talking about more, because the more we talk about it, the more we can help the people who have felt or are feeling the same as I felt. In this video, I will be discussing suicide. If you've got any children or vulnerable adults with you, you may want to be in a different room to them when you watch this. And this video will contain some content that some viewers might find distressing or upsetting. So I'm going to put links in the description to organisations that can provide professional support. I'll share some statistics around suicide, explore why it's such a big killer, the biggest killer of men under the age of 45, give my personal story around suicide, and then what I did to get help. So hopefully, if you're watching and you're feeling anything like I did, you can reach out for help as well. In the UK, 1 in 5 people will experience suicidal thoughts. Women are more likely to have suicidal thoughts and make more suicide attempts than men, but men are more likely to take their own life. Someone dies from suicide every 19 minutes, and 76% to 80% of these are male. There are 25 attempts at suicide for every death. Suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 45, accounting for 1/5 of all deaths among men under the age of 45. Suicide is the biggest killer of 15 to 49-year-olds. 19 to 35-year-old is twice as likely than any other age to report they're at crisis point and are feeling suicidal. 16 to 24-year-olds is the fastest growing group in history to exhibit suicidal thoughts. And sports coaches now in schools, colleges and universities are reporting that the highest suicide attempts they're seeing is from teenage girls. So why are so many people feeling this way, and why is suicide one of, if not the biggest killer? Well, first of all, something that we've all got in our pockets, we use every day. I'm filming on one right now, smartphones. From a young age now, children and young adults are growing up with a smartphone, and they're spending more time on these phones than they are in real life. On average, we're spending 6 to 8 hours every day on our phones, time that we could be spending having real human connection with real people out in the real world. We are social creatures after all. If we're not part of a family, a tribe, then there's, if you go back to our ancestors, if you were ousted from the tribe and you had to survive on your own, you wouldn't survive. You need to have the tribe around you. So social interaction and human connection is so important, and screen time unfortunately is reducing the amount of human connection we have. So even though we're feeling more connected through our phones, we're actually becoming more disconnected because we're not having as much human interaction and we're feeling less lonely. And the COVID pandemic made this only worse when we were told to all self-isolate. Social media, from a young age now, children and young adults are being exposed to social media and seeing content that makes them feel like they're not enough when they see other people posting amazing stuff on their social media pages of their perfect lives, even though it's only a small snippet into that person's life. It makes the person viewing it feel that their life is boring and not very exciting compared to theirs. Because this leads to people comparing themselves to these other people posting all this content. The person feels less worthy, less lovable, and even feel that what's the point in carrying on if they can't be good looking or as exciting as the other people they're seeing on social media. Childhood trauma. 500,000 children per year will experience some sort of trauma, such as neglect, physical abuse, mental abuse like bullying or sexual abuse. This can lead to mental health issues later in life like depression and anxiety, because children feel that they're not lovable, they feel isolated, and can even feel what's the point in carrying on. Big one then, especially for men, the stigma. 40% of men won't talk about any of their mental health issues because of the stigma surrounding men's mental health and the traditional strong male stereotype that we have to keep a stiff upper lip, be stoic, be strong, and be the caregiver to the family. Talking about my own story now with suicide. My suicidal thoughts started in around about 2012. At this point, I was working as a cashier in a well-known supermarket in the UK. I'd been in this job for 8 years up to this point, and by this point I'd applied 3 times to be a team leader on the checkouts, failing each time and not getting too much of a feedback on why I didn't get it. So ended up feeling like I was in a dead-end job, feeling bored out of my wits because I wasn't being challenged. I was just scanning products all day, and nothing really exciting about that, to be honest, is there? I'd also recently, at that point, around 2012, cut ties with my best friend, who I'd known from childhood. We knew each other from when we were about 8 years old. He had autism like I have, so we really understood each other, connected with each other, spent a lot of time with each other. The previous year, in 2011, we went to Butlins in Minehead together to spend some time together, have our first trip away together. And it was agreed before we went I would pay for both of us on the trip, and then he would pay me back his half after the trip. On the final day of the holiday, when I brought this subject up to him, he got very defensive, almost like he was saying he wasn't going to pay his half. And we had a big argument, didn't speak to each other for the rest of the trip or the way home. Eventually my mum and his mum, they gave him an ultimatum that he had to give the money back, so eventually he did. He came round on a day when I was in work, so literally since the trip I've never seen him. I also learned some things about him that were not pleasant, made me have less of a view of him. He went down in my estimates. So those are the 2 big traumas. I kept a lot of this to myself, like a lot of men do, feeling embarrassed, feeling ashamed, feeling I shouldn't feel this way. I should be getting rid of these thoughts, just getting on with my life, being a strong person, being there for people. But it all came to a head then, around about 2013, 2014. I had an argument with my mum, got quite heated, and my dad was called while he was in work to come back home from work. So as you can imagine, he came back confused, concerned, worried what was going on. Begrudgingly then, I opened up to my parents, told them how I was feeling. I didn't think that it was worth carrying on in this life. There was nothing for me to live for. I didn't have any friends, didn't have any hobbies. All I was doing was going to work on my work days. I was in my bedroom playing computer games on my days off, not getting out, not experiencing the world. And my life just felt like it was going nowhere. Felt like, felt that what's the point in carrying on if there's nothing to live for? My parents obviously were very surprised, very worried when I said this. But they took it surprisingly well. They're very empathetic. They reminded me of the good things about me, saying I was one of the, or I am one of the most intelligent people that they know, that I'm kind, caring, nurturing, always there for people. And then more recently, I shared with my wider family, with my brother and his partner and kids, that I felt suicidal. I got to the point where I was planning how I was going to take my own life. They were shocked as well, worried that I was feeling that way. Thankfully, I'm still here. I didn't follow through with taking my own life. I know a lot of people watching this who I know personally will be very thankful for that, and I am as well now. Looking back, I'm glad I didn't go ahead with it. Ultimately, what saved me and what stopped me from putting myself out of my misery. So I decided to really think about what do I enjoy, what do I like doing, and to try and do all those things and make some changes in my life. So I quit my previous job as the cashier, got a new job with a well-known TV company, working in a call centre, which doesn't sound very grand or anything like that, but it's a million miles away from working in the supermarket. A lot better benefits, and the people in there are amazing, very supportive. We've even got our own private healthcare that we can have for free or pay a bit extra to get extra level of cover, and that's helped me to get some therapy down the years as well. I've started doing hobbies in my life that I enjoy, that keep me busy, such as playing golf. So I'm sure you've heard the mental and physical health benefits that golf can bring, and I'm living proof of that. You're out in green spaces, seeing nature, seeing wild animals, getting some light exercise, challenging yourself with playing the game, and got your playing partners with you can chat to, have a laugh with, put the world to rights. I love my nature and my wild animals, so I volunteer with a charity, the RSPB, educating children on the environment, on nature, and getting them interested in the environment, nature and the planet, so hopefully they're more likely to grow up wanting to protect it like I do. And like what I'm doing here, doing this YouTube channel, sharing all the information I've learned down the years from other YouTube channels, from podcasts or online articles, sharing all that stuff that they don't teach in schools, talking about my autism to raise awareness of the condition, which I think is very much misunderstood, and helping other people who've got autism to feel less different and able to be their more authentic selves. So these 3-4 things I've brought into my life, and gardening I should mention as well. My dad's introduced me to gardening a couple of years ago. I find that really therapeutic, and I can tap into my caring side there because I can put flowers in the garden which will bring pollinators in, like the bees and all the insects, and growing my own fruits and vegetables, seeing the fruits of my labour, literally. And it's true what they say, it does taste better when you grow it yourself, so that's amazing. So doing all those things, bringing all those things into my life, gave me that sense of purpose, and gave me a sense of, right, I know what I'm doing now, I know why I'm here, I know what my life purpose is. That's what's kept me alive. If your current situation or well-being makes you feel similar to how I felt, please reach out to friends and family and talk about it. I guarantee they'll have plenty of positives to tell you. Please don't suffer in silence. Please seek help. You are worth so much more than you think. It's not just you that's affected when you take your own life. On average, there's 10 to 12 people per person that dies of suicide that's left grieving or bereaving their loss. So consider the friends and family that you'll be leaving behind, not just yourself. How would you feel if you woke up one day and you suddenly found out that your best friend had died from suicide? There were no warning signs, they seemed happy as Larry, nothing to suggest that they were suffering, and you find out just like that they're gone and you're never going to see them again. How would you feel? And think about that for yourself. How would your friends and family feel if you were to take your own life? So please seek help if you're in any way feeling suicidal. I know there's stigma around mental health, especially for men, but please do open up. There are professional charities out there, and I'll put the links to all of them in my description for this video to help you. Don't suffer in silence. Reach out for help. Stay well, stay healthy. I'll catch you on the next video.